The Blackhawks lose 3-1 to the LA Kings in a game they probably should have won. We'll wrap it up next on the CHGO Blackhawks postgame show. Welcome into the CHGO Blackhawks postgame show presented by Bet365. Download the Bet365 app. Use our code CHGO365 when you sign up. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Thanks for being with us. I'm Jay Zawaski. That's Greg Boysen. Joey's here running the show today. Hawks lose 3-1 to the LA Kings at the United Center. Tough loss. Greg, this one was very, very frustrating. You had the Hawks come out, play one of their best periods of the year against a team that has played 3 games in 4 nights. The 2 games they played prior to this game went to overtime. The LA Kings...
Actually, the last 4 of their games have gone to overtime.
The LA Kings should have been the team that late in this game looked exhausted and looked tired and was getting outworked to pucks. But after that first period, LA just took it to the Hawks for 40 minutes. The Hawks had no answer. The Kings pressured them. They kept them out of the middle, and the Hawks could not answer that. And whenever they would get a power play opportunity, things would somehow almost go worse. The power play was awful tonight.
What does that say right there on my notes?
Ass! Exclamation point.
First power play unit. Ass.
Yeah.
It was bad. Whatever the Chicago Bears had today carried over to the Blackhawks. They spread some of that meh on them, and because that game was just a whole lot of just that the second and third periods was just like I felt like they were playing the 90s Devils. Like there was no space on the ice.
Just stuck in mud.
And the first period was great period. They got started off with the Dickinson line with Dach and Slaggert. They got some offensive zone time right away. They were so aggressive off the puck. They looked fast. The Kings had nothing for them. They couldn't get the puck through the neutral zone. The Hawks were all over them. They get the goal from Bedard that started on a really nice play by Mikheyev in the neutral zone with a quick little stick lift and gets the puck going the other way. And then they put in a videotape of last Sunday's game against the Vancouver Canucks, which 100%. Was the same exact scenario. Blackhawks facing a team on the second night of back-to-backs that traveled to get here the night before and looked really good in the first period. They had a 2-0 lead after that first period against the Canucks. And then whatever team was there in the first period did not show up for the rest of the game.
Yeah.
They were losing every one-on-one puck battle. They were losing every foot race on the ice. The second period, the Kings line of Fiala, Byfield, and Lafreniere just dominated.
Yes,
stuck it to them. They had no answer. Couldn't get the puck out of the zone. I don't know what happened. I mean, you said right before we went on the air, Jay, that this will probably be the first night Jeff Blashill is going to be a little upset, and he should be, because that effort sucked. And it's what makes it suck even more is because it looked so different in the first period. What happened?
That I don't understand is how does it go from an absolutely dominant first period? They were all over the Kings. The Kings had no response. And look, I get teams travel. It takes them a while to find their legs. Fine. But even when they find their legs for the second period or whatever it is, it was like complete. It's like both teams switch uniforms. They lost, like you said, they lost every puck battle. They lost every race to the puck. And now and again, you'll see these sort of performances from young teams. But this, to me, really felt like a matter of effort. And I think sometimes we can get caught up in saying like, well, effort means they're just not like trying hard, but they also they lost focus. They were making plays that didn't make sense, like forcing shots through 4 LA Kings or not taking shots that were there
or dumping the puck in when you have a 6-on-4 power play.
They refuse to dump the puck in on any 5-on-4 power play. They insist on the freaking slingshot power play, which every team in hockey uses. I get it, but when it's finally time, you're 6-on-4. When it's finally time to use that advantage and carry it in, they dump every time. And then I saw they would dump it in, and 3 of the Hawks would just peel off and kind of hang out in the middle of the offensive zone. Like, if you're going to dump it, you got to go get it.
You've got 2 more guys than they do.
Yeah, I don't. It was just a very strange game. I don't know. I really don't know what to make of it. And maybe it's the Ilya Mikheyev thing. I don't know. But that was the third period. He left the game in the very beginning of the third period, like less than a minute in. You didn't find out about it on the broadcast for about 20 minutes, but that's when it happened. I don't know. And you mentioned it's like the Bears game. Like they come out the first 2 drives, they're all over the Ravens, and then all of a sudden they're like, we're good. 6-0's good enough. The Hawks thought, 1-0, we're good enough. I don't know. Remember when Jeff Blashill was hired? And this is a term that he used that stuck with me a lot. The poke and hope. Don't just try to fly by and make things happen by kind of whacking at it and hoping it goes your way. A lot of that tonight where the Hawks would try to kind of go in. They would just kind of half carelessly throw their stick at the puck, trying to make something happen, and they'd overskate or they'd take themselves out of the play.
And
really
that's
frustrating.
That's not going to fly against a team like the Kings, who are a big, heavy team. You have to be physical with the Kings. And they got off to a rough start, but they've now got points in 5 in a row. And, they're exactly where, most people thought. They've been a playoff team. Most people picked them to be a playoff team again. Yeah. And, they came in here tonight with their backup goalie, former Blackhawk legend Anton Forsberg, and they did what they had to do to win a game. Yep. They survived the first period. They could have been down a lot more than that, than just the 1 goal. They get the goal. They get their 2 goals in, what was it, 1:24?
Yep.
And then they just said, we're just not going to give this team any space. We're going to clog up the neutral zone. Their best weapon is their speed. We're not going to allow them to use their speed. And the LA Kings just gave the blueprint to the rest of the National Hockey League on how to neutralize the Blackhawks' speed.
Keep them outside. And look, I know that most Hawks fans are pretty lukewarm on Tyler Bertuzzi, but Tyler Bertuzzi is the guy on this team, one of the guys on this team, but the main guy on this team that forces himself inside, that gets in front of the goalie, that goes to the hard areas consistently. You saw a lot of perimeter action from the Hawks in this game, not a lot happening in front of Anton Forsberg. And when you talk about guys you want to get action in front of, I'm not trying to rip on Anton Forsberg, but we spent a lot of time the last few years looking at the heat maps. There is very little dark red in front of Anton Forsberg. Meanwhile, the Kings had a ton of it in front of Arvid Soderblom.
They were in Soderblom's face all night long.
Yeah. It's just a disappointing loss. It just felt like an opportunity. Are the Kings a better team than them? Yes. But after the way the first period started, it felt like take advantage of this blessing you have of facing the LA Kings, 3rd game in 4 nights, traveling, overtimes, all those sort of things, and take this win. Skate away with this win. It felt like it was there for the taking, and it just wasn't.
Not to keep comparing the two because they're not even close to the same thing, but it feels like the Bears game today.
Yeah.
Where you're starting to be like, hey, maybe this team really is good. Maybe we underestimate them. Maybe they're putting something nice together here. And then you're like, oh, no, there they are. There they are.
Yeah.
They've been Scooby-Doo. The mask has been pulled off, and it's the old man that ran the amusement park all this time.
Yeah, I'm not going to, I don't think we need to make any grand declarations about them as a whole. I do think they're a better team than they've been in a long time.
For sure.
But it's just hopefully they can take this and use it as a learning opportunity. And I really want to see. I'm anxious to hear what Jeff Blashill has to say, because when there have been a few times where I thought he'd be pretty fired up after a game and he hasn't been. I think that everything he has preached was the opposite of tonight. And Joey's got the heat map ready to go from Natural Stat Trick. I mean, look at that in front of the Kings goal. That's just not enough. That's not enough. Look at the difference between the net fronts on that chart. The LA Kings have a big blue blob in front of Soderblom, and it's a little light. It's a little drizzle in front of Forsberg. That's not going to get it done. It's not how you win in this league. And you could see all the action forced to the points, forced to the boards. That's exactly how the Kings wanted it, and the Hawks were just happy to oblige and just take what the Kings gave them, which wasn't much.
True, yeah, and you're spot on about the Bertuzzi making him not being there making a big difference.
Power play too.
Yeah, I mean, there's a difference between having Tyler Bertuzzi out there compared to Nick Foligno. Not a slam on Nick Foligno, but it's a different feel. It's a different type of play. If you're going to try dumping pucks in on a 6-on-4 power play, which still I can't understand what the thinking is there. But if Bertuzzi's on the ice, he probably goes and gets that puck.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's tough to get inside the dots on the Kings. It's been that way forever.
Yeah.
It's still that way. I mean, when you look who they got down the middle with Kopitar and Byfield and Danault and even Turcotte, is not worthy of the 5th overall pick that he went, but he, unlike a former first-round pick that just got traded a few hours ago, he's at least said, okay, I'm going to embrace being a bottom 6 center and play that the right way so I could stay in this league. So it's tough to get inside the dots on the Kings, but you have to try.
Yeah, I didn't see a lot of adjustment in this game, and I don't know what the message was from Blashill and the coaching staff, but I'm sure it wasn't, hey, just keep doing the same thing. No, because it wasn't working. I'm sure the message was be harder on pucks, win those battles, sticks on the ice, all those little things, and
all the things they did in the first period.
Yes. Yeah.
That was a Jeff Blashill team in the first period. I turned to you midway through the first period and said, this team is so freaking aggressive when they don't have the puck. It's so refreshing to see, because in years past under Luke Richardson, they were so timid to make a mistake because they knew that they had to play perfect hockey to get their one goal that night and hopefully win 1-0. Where now they know they have speed, that if they overplay a puck or get out of position, they have the speed to recover. And if they don't, they have the goaltending to bail them out so they can be more aggressive. But that whatever that was in the first period, it never came back out of the locker room. I
just don't know why it's so. And again, maybe it's youth. It is what it is. And maybe it's a little bit of immaturity where, because you mentioned it's a carbon copy of what happened against Vancouver. Maybe this team is feeling good about itself. They certainly feel like they're a better team than they have been for the last 2, 3, 10 years. Right? Like, and maybe some of that immaturity is, oh, look at that first period. We're all over these guys. It's in the bag. It's a matter of how much we win, not if we're going to win. And they just kind of lose that work ethic a little bit. I don't know what it is, but this is something that they got. Look, obviously the power play needs a lot of work. But the inconsistent performances and the period-to-period Jekyll and Hyde nature this team has had this year, that's something that's got to be addressed. All right, we're going to hit the break zone here in a minute. We're going to hear from Connor Bedard and from Jason Dickinson when we come back. Do us a favor. We've not asked you to do it yet. Please hit that like button for us if you're watching us live on YouTube. And if you're there watching us live, be sure to hit that subscribe button while you're there. And if you're listening on your favorite podcast app, we love and appreciate you too. Make sure you're following or subscribed on your favorite app, and leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Before we hit the break zone, we're going to put up our poll for the game pucks. Our nominees today, Colton Dach was nominated by Mario. Greg took Teuvo Teravainen, and I took Artem Levshunov. We'll explain those a little bit later in the show. But get your votes in, and we'll reveal the winner towards the end of the show. We're back in 2 minutes on CHGO Blackhawks, presented by Bet365. Whatever the sport, the app to bet is Circa Sports Illinois. Circa Sports, it's sports betting the way it should be. Circa Sports Illinois has high betting limits, low holds, and exceptional customer service. Football is well underway. Hockey is well underway. Tons of things to wager on, and the best place to do it is Circa Sports Illinois. Bet on all your favorite teams in every game this season. Spreads, props, futures, in-game, whatever you are looking for, Circa Sports has it. You can fund and bet like a pro anywhere, anytime in Illinois. Download your new bookie today. Go to circasports.com to sign up. Again, that's circasports.com. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? You can call 1-800-GAMBLER. And with all the money you win at Circa Sports Illinois, head over to Ray, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and
Ram.
Thank you. New vehicles are in store at Ray CDJR, and this is your chance to score a great deal at the Drive into Fall event. Head to Ray CDJR on Route 12 today to choose from their huge inventory of new Chryslers, Dodges, Jeepses, and Ramses. Right now, get 0% financing for 72 months available on new models. Plus, shop over 125 vehicles priced under $20,000. With a friendly team of brand experts, the team at Ray CDJR is here to help you during each step of your car shopping journey. And with Ray's price promise, you can shop confidently with no add-ons or hidden fees ever. The price you see is the price you pay. It is really that simple. Go check out our partner today to shop one of Chicago's largest inventories to find the right new vehicle for you. Don't miss out on the Drive into Fall event for huge savings on new models. For more info, visit Ray CDJR on Route 12 in Fox Lake or online at raycdjr.com. They've been serving the community since 1963. All right, we're back on CHGO Blackhawks. Before we get to Connor Bedard and Jason Dickinson, a couple super chats. Corey with his every show super chat. We appreciate that as always, Corey. He says, at what point does the power play hasn't gotten going yet turn into there's something wrong with the power play? I'm already there. I think there's something wrong with the power play.
Tonight might have been that night.
Yeah.
It was it's one thing to go 0 for 5 on a power play, but you know, the goalie made some big saves. You had a lot of shots, some scoring chances, but there was never any danger in any of those power plays. I think the Kings had more shorthanded scoring chances than the Blackhawks had on the power play. So I think it's beyond a concern right now, and I would imagine the next time they get on the ice to practice or morning skate, there'll be some power play changes made there. I'm not really sure what you can do to make it different.
Once it's set up, it's okay.
Right.
The problem is they can just never get
Here's
set up.
something I might do to get that first unit a little better. I might put Burakovsky on the first unit because he's so good at getting the puck.
He does
in
get
the
the
zone.
puck in.
So I might do that just so they can have the puck in the zone.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I mean, but who do you take off of that? I don't know. But at least if he can get you the puck in the zone instead of going back and chasing it for 30 seconds, you're already better off.
Yeah. That's kind of the question, though, because you got Nazar, Bertuzzi, Teuvo, Bedard, and Renzel.
You probably take Teuvo off, put him on the second unit.
I guess. I mean, I like Tavo's vision. His puck moving is obviously very good. Great passer. Bertuzzi is invaluable net front. I mean, it doesn't hurt anything to give it a look. I mean, even if you're just like, hey, you know what?
Tavo's passing and vision doesn't do you shit in the neutral zone.
Yeah, it's true. That's correct. One more super chat here real quick from Eris Mix 23 says, I'm not panicking, but it's frustrating to see guys like you got to go back to the other screen, Joey. I can't read that. I'm sorry. He says, but it's frustrating to see guys like Celebrini, Demidov, and Cooley just dominate games, and we've yet to see that from Connor. Really hope that changes soon. I mean, I would say I understand where you're coming from because you're seeing, what Celebrini's got like 10 points in the last 3 games or something crazy. Logan Cooley's he's got 7 goals this year. Ivan Demidov has been great for Montreal, but I would say that all 3 of those guys have a little more help offensively. However, Connor Bedard was drafted to be a generational game-changing player. And I think we've yet to see from Connor that level of play. He has led the team in scoring 2 years in a row. He has been very effective offensively. He has improved his all-around game this year. There's no doubt about that. I believe he's, 1 fewer point than games this year because he had a point tonight. So that would be, let's see. He's got 7 points in 8 games. So he has 8 points in 9 games now. So, I mean, close to a point per game pace. You know he's going to have a multi-goal game here soon. But you are seeing other players that are outperforming him individually. And I see why that's concerning, but I think that let's give it time. All these guys are different. But aside from Celebrini, all those guys have a much better supporting cast to work with.
I mean, yeah, the Utah and Montreal are definitely better teams right now. That helps. But, you know, I wouldn't necessarily say Demidov is dominating games. He's putting up good numbers.
He's had some really impressive moments, but he's got 9 points in 10 games.
But, I mean, I don't think he's, you know, if anybody's dominating games on the Canadiens, it's Cole Caulfield.
Yeah.
He's the one dominating the games, and Demidov is allowed to have that really nice start to the season because everybody's focused on stopping the Suzuki-Caulfield line,
right?
Whereas Bedard, everybody's focused on stopping that line. But sure, my advice is don't obsess with what these other guys are doing because it doesn't matter what Macklin Celebrini is doing, except for the 3 games that they're playing the Blackhawks.
Right.
You know, Connor has made strides this year. You're seeing, you know, better all-around play, and that's something everybody wanted to see for the last 2 years, so you're starting to see that. You know, he's been a more aggressive shooting the puck this year. He's doing it more. He's had a little bit of bad puck luck here. A couple pucks off of the top of a goalie's shoulder, a couple posts. 2 or 3 of those go in, and you're talking, you know, he's got 14, 15 points at this point of the season. So, you know, we're 9 games into the season. It's been better. Can it get to a next level? Absolutely. Should it be at a next level? Yes, I'd like it to get there, but I'm not discouraged by anything I've seen from Bedard because I'm not comparing. Like I'm watching him within the lens of what he's doing for this team. I'm not worried about comparing his numbers to other players because that doesn't matter.
Well, I saw too. Like, I don't know what it is. We're getting hung up in this. Which kid is better? I'll take being on the better team right now. And
that's what I mean. Like, the Blackhawks are off to a much better start than anybody expected.
Yeah.
And it's still, Bedard's not dominating games.
I saw somebody on Twitter, like, it must be nice to be a San Jose Sharks fan. Like,
why? They suck.
They're horrible.
They're terrible. They're a bad team.
Yeah.
They've got some fun young players, but they can't beat anybody. They
got to
win every.
They're only 6 NHL defensemen.
6 NHL level defensemen from being competitive.
Yeah.
Like, they're fun to watch, but at some point, they lost 17 freaking games in a row. How's that fun? Losing sucks.
Because Celebrini's putting up big points.
Great.
I don't know,
7-6 losses every night.
If that's what you're... If that's what you're motivated by as a fan is the individual performances of young players, there's plenty of room on the Sharks bandwagon. There's plenty of room on the Utah bandwagon. Let's not just dial in on Connor Bedard versus Macklin Celebrini versus whoever you want to compare him to. Why? Enjoy the fact that he's here. And I don't know. It's just it's like a weird hang up that people are having. I want to get to this right away, by the way. Jeff Blashill, we're going to hear from him later, but he's saying that Ilya Mikheyev, that injury should not be long-term, says day-to-day, nothing major. So that's good news. He did miss the 3rd period, but that would be a really big loss if Ilya Mikheyev was to miss any significant portion of time.
For sure. He's been, dare I say, the most valuable forward on this team this year as far as overall play. You know, I think
hard to argue.
What he brings to the table is very few people on this team do. So it is good to hear that and that's encouraging because, when Luke Richardson said a guy should be fine, you were like, oh crap, his funeral's on Tuesday. Jeff Blashill does not like to reveal anything. So if he's saying it should be fine, then it should be fine.
I think so too. All right, let's hear from the man we're speaking of, Connor Bedard, who spoke after the game today. Had some interesting comments. Let's give him a listen here.
What was starting to happen there in the second period?
Yeah, I mean, we started off the game pretty well. I think our power play is terrible tonight, so that doesn't help. We have, I don't know how many power plays, 5 or 6, and I think I heard Dickie mention that kind of takes the momentum a little bit, and they use that, and then second we're kind of, trying to do a little too much sometimes maybe, so they fed off that, and then we couldn't obviously get it back in the third.
Was it their aggressiveness on their PK, or what did you see on the power plays?
No, it was more us. I mean, every team's going to have a good kill, but if we are making good plays, it's going to be tough. So, we'll look at it and watch it and be better.
You guys have talked a few times about being one-goal games against playoff caliber teams. This is obviously another playoff caliber team. Are there things you take away as you talk about that process from a playoff perspective?
Yeah, I think on a team like that, just figuring out how to create offense. They play really boring. It's not like a dig or anything. They sit back a lot and they make it hard to get, zone entries, and we're putting it in and we're trying to go get it. But they're good at breaking it out. So, a lot of teams are going to play like that, especially when they have a lead. So we got to kind of figure out how to crack that a little bit. So I thought that was a good experience for us.
It's Connor Bedard. I mean, he's right on it. The power play was bad, and they got to figure out a way to play through a team that shuts it down. And I think that was a pretty predictable, if you're going to wonder how this game went, that if the LA Kings got a lead at any point, they were just going to shut it down, prevent scoring chances, and just try to whittle the clock down as much as they could. And that's exactly what happened. They've got to find an answer. And they've got some guys who are willing to go to that. This is a game where, if I'm noticing what was happening, and I'm noticing the individual performances, Colton Dach was a man on fire in this game, especially in the first. He was all over the place, finishing checks, being physical. Why not throw him back on that top line, especially when Mikheyev goes down?
He was there when he went down.
A little bit, but they were mixing things up like crazy.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was...
I know you have 10 forwards at that point, but
right. And yeah, I mean, he was on that line for a little bit. According to Natural Stat Trick, he had 2 minutes, 18 seconds of 5-on-5 time in that third period on that line. So that's at least 3 or 4 shifts.
Yeah.
Probably out of, and then Bedard was out there almost the whole third period.
Yeah, he was out a lot
so,
too, yeah.
We'll see what happens Tuesday if Mikheyev isn't going to be available. I know a lot of chatter was right away that if now that we know that it doesn't sound very serious, but if he was going to be out an extended period of time, I mean, that could have been hey, Oliver Moore, come on up. It's your time. But if it's not, it doesn't sound like it's going to need anybody to get called up because, Bertuzzi could be back Tuesday.
Right.
Maybe both of them play Tuesday. You got Dickinson back tonight, so you should be okay there.
And you always got Sam Laverty waiting in the wings.
Poor Sam hanging out with us in the press box every night.
Waiting for his chance. Waiting for that call.
Man.
Probably never come.
Not looking like it. Not looking like it.
No, it's it's very strange.
I mean, that was an acquisition of a player that the GM obviously is a big fan of. And
I guess so.
And apparently the coach is not.
Maybe he just likes him personally.
I mean, Sam, he's a nice guy.
Yeah, sure. Maybe he's got eyes on him for like a front office role when his career's over.
It's quite obvious that he's not the same player he was when he was here a couple of years ago. Or maybe that he is, but the team's just better and he's not as noticeable as he was.
It's my theory that on every bad team, someone has to score.
I mean, he was like
I call it the Kyle Calder theory.
He was the fastest skater on that team when he
Yes.
was here, and he's now like the 9th fastest skater because the team's a lot faster.
Yeah.
Also known as the Zach LaVine theory, too, as well. Someone has to score at some point.
I just have to believe you on that one. I know he's a good dunker. All right, we're going to hit the break zone one more time. We're still going to hear from Jason Dickinson. A couple other super chats we want to get to. Is the poll up, Joey, for the Game Pucks? Sweet. Get those votes in. Hit that like button for us. Right back in 2 minutes on CHGO Blackhawks, presented by Bet365. Chicago Sports Network is the official TV and streaming home of the Blackhawks, Bulls, and White Sox, broadcasting over 300 live games per year. CHSN offers the All Access plan. That's $29.99 a month, and you get access to all the games and the programming on the network at that price, $29.99. They also offer individual team plans. That's $19.99 a month, and that gives you access to the games of the team you select. So if you want just Hawks games, $19.99 a month. You get all the Hawks games on the CHSN app. You can sign up to watch CHSN at chsn.com, or you can watch via the CHSN app, which can be downloaded on Apple and Android devices, Amazon Fire TV, Roku, and Samsung TV. CHSN is also available on Xfinity, DirecTV, DirecTV Stream, and Fubo. You can visit chsn.com for more details. That is chsn.com. And this episode is brought to you by our friends at Prize Picks. You and I make decisions every day, but on Prize Picks, being right can get you paid. Don't miss any of the excitement this football season on Prize Picks, where it's good to be right. Here's how you do Prize Picks. More than, less than. For example, Caleb Williams, more than, less than, 300 yards. If you picked less than, you're a winner. 100 yards rushing for DeAndre Swift, more than, less than. You pick less than, you're a winner. It's okay. It's a way to hedge your emotions. If the Bears don't play the way you want, bet the under, bet less than on those guys, and you'll be good to go. Prize Picks is simple to play. That's all you got to do. And Prize Pick is the only app that offers stacks, meaning you can pick the same player up to 3 times in the same lineup. Want to pick more on Josh Allen's pass yards, rush yards, and touchdowns? Now you can pick all of them in the same lineup on Prize Picks. Download the app today. Use our code CHGO to get $50 instantly after you pay your first. Oh, we back? All right. Prize Picks. Do it. It's good stuff. All right, we got one more super chat, I think, from Eris Mix, kind of clarified their comment. Says, to clarify, I'm not concerned about Bedard, and I think he's still primed for a fantastic season. You're right when you say the comparisons are silly, and I'd much rather watch the Hawks vibes than the Sharks. Yeah, I mean, look, it'd be one thing if I understand that the Demidov Levshunov thing is going to be a thing forever because they chose Levshunov over Demidov. Fine. I get it. If you want to be miserable for the careers of those two guys, go ahead and do that to yourself. I'm just opting to focus on Levshunov because that's who's here, and he's pretty damn good. But Bedard versus Celebrini, they're different drafts.
Right. And if Celebrini is a better player than Connor Bedard, okay.
Okay,
Good for the Sharks.
What can you do about it?
Yeah, it wasn't that the Blackhawks took Bedard over Celebrini.
Right.
They tried really bad to be really bad the following year to get them both.
Yeah. They did their best.
Yes, they just didn't win the lottery. That doesn't make sense to me. Another thing that drives me crazy, I called John Buchagras out on it yesterday too, when he tweeted out about oh, imagine having the second overall pick and not taking Ivan Demidov. I'm like, what about the teams at 3 and 4?
Right.
How come the Ducks and the Blue Jackets never get crap for passing up? The Blue Jackets took Caden Lindstrom over Ivan Demidov, who's always hurt and is
Caden Lindstrom and me have the same back. And I'm 47 and fat.
He's done nothing at Michigan State so far this year. So it's like, could you imagine Fantilli and Demidov together? That's all of a sudden they got Shark-esque vibes because they got their young, fun 1-2 punch. But they not a peep about why didn't the Blue Jackets take him. It's just
it is also the narrative of just ripping the Blackhawks at every turn you possibly can because, again, the Sharks had lost 17 games in a row going back to last year, and people still talk about them like they're the 90s Red Wings for some reason. Oh, they have really fun losses.
Yeah, they are fun. They are exciting games. if you want to bet the over and watch a Sharks game, you're probably going to win more times than not. They are fun, but they're still bad and probably will be for a while because they can't stop the other team from scoring. At least we've seen with the Hawks this season, they can play a little bit of defense. Still not great defense, but it's better, and you have good goaltending.
Yeah.
The Hawks entered tonight for giving up the 6th fewest goals in the league. Goals per game. They're 6th.
Yeah.
And they only gave up 3, but so they should be, I mean, they're playing overall better hockey. But I know it's not as fun. Sure. At least tonight it wasn't.
Again,
it's just
there's plenty of
it's funny to me.
There's plenty of room on the Sharks. If you don't want to be I don't like to gatekeep and be this way, but it's like, is this what we're gonna do for the next 15 years? Is the constant comparison between high draft picks that have nothing to do with one another?
I don't know. It's just funny to me how the mood can change so quickly because the Blackhawks lost one game.
And by the way, who scored the goal in this game? Connor Bedard?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, I must have missed that.
Whatever. It's
just weird.
People love to compare things, which is fine, but at some point it's like, focus on what's going on here. You know, the Blackhawks didn't win the draft lottery to get Macklin Celebrini. Why do we need to compare the two? They're two different players from different drafts. And if Macklin Celebrini has a better career than Connor Bedard, great. Why is that a slam on the Blackhawks?
I don't know. It's just a weird. It's just a weird place.
It's also that age-old bar argument of what would you rather have, like Connor Bedard score 500 career points and win 4 cups, or have Celebrini score 1,000 career points and have 0 cups. What would you rather have?
I'll take Patrick Kane's 3 Stanley Cups over Alex Ovechkin's goal record in 1 cup.
That's what you should be driving towards.
That's the point of this, is to win championships. So I don't know. It's just weird. It's exhausting. I think part of it too is that we're online a lot, keeping up on news, and
unfortunately,
you know, the For You page has become a bunch of verified accounts just kind of talking what they want, and it's just weird. Anyway, it just gets exhausting. It's like, if you don't want to enjoy what the Blackhawks are doing, then don't. Like, you're welcome to go elsewhere. Like, it's a weird place to be. And I said that Levshunov is like a pretty good player, and I got some pushback from that in the chat. And once again, one of the highest rated players on the team for Chicago tonight. If you're looking at the possession metrics, he's had some rough moments, especially early in the season, but has settled down lately. The offense hasn't been there yet, but he's a 19-year-old defenseman, and the points will come eventually. If you're judging a career on a 19-year-old defenseman, 9 games into his, actually 8 games for him into his rookie year, then I don't know what to tell you. I don't know. It's just people just opting for misery, which is strange to me considering how much the Hawks have, overachieved our expectations or anyone's expectations so far this season. But all right, it's weird. That's all I'm saying. It's weird. Mario will join us shortly from the United Center, so we look forward to that. I know Jason Dickinson spoke. He's always got some good things to say. Why don't we give him a listen here, and we'll get back to you in 2 minutes.
What happened there early in the second? It seemed like things started to turn a little bit.
Yeah, I think the power play lost a little bit of momentum there, and then we didn't get a shift after to get it back, and felt like we were just kind of shooting ourselves in the foot a little bit. It's so cliche, but like, we made mistakes that they capitalized on, and that's really all it was. And then they played their game from there, and they're a cagey team that knows how to win games, and they can close it out. So they did a good job of that. So tip your cap, but it was self-inflicted that kind of led to that situation.
That's unusual for you guys to do like this so far this season, isn't it?
Yeah, I'd say. I mean, we've had our moments. We've been able to claw back from them before, but this is another learning moment for us, right? Like, a team like this that knows how to win and knows how to play like that, we can't let ourselves do that. And It's easier said than done sometimes, but it really is simple plays. Like, I think back on the goal that I gave up, and it's such a simple play, but a stupid decision where I panic with the puck in a dangerous area, and it turns into a breakaway. So it's completely self-inflicted. I've said it a million times already, but it's just stupid plays that could easily be corrected, and just show a little poise and not panic in those moments once the momentum does swing, to just kind of take a breath and bear down.
Did you feel like in the first period you guys had an opportunity to capitalize more?
Yeah, absolutely. I felt like we were pushing the pace. We were doing what we wanted to do, and we were getting a lot more ozone time, obviously, so that makes it feel like we were doing a lot more. Whether we were or weren't, I don't know what the analytics would say as far as scoring chances, but we were in the ozone, which is obviously a good sign, and we were moving as a unit and being smart with the puck and making sure that we weren't putting ourselves in those situations, and it was working.
How did you feel getting back in the lineup?
I felt pretty good. As the game went on, I started to feel better. Like I said on that goal, there was a couple moments that I made some bonehead decisions that I would rather make a better play, but that's just a little bit of rust coming off after a week off and trying to get my reads back.
We'll ask him here shortly about Ilya Mikheyev, but how much do you miss him in the third period after he goes out?
Yeah, missing anybody. We're already going 11-7,
Yeah.
So forwards are going every other basically at that point. I think Frank and Bedsy ended up playing probably 10 minutes of the third period each. So it puts a lot of stress on other guys, not only missing a guy like Mickey that can forecheck, he can get in on pucks by himself, he can create something on a forecheck alone. So that's definitely a factor that's missed, and then just putting pressure on other guys to play more minutes and harder minutes.
All right, good stuff from Jason Dickinson. Always a good and thoughtful quote. And that's a guy who, a veteran leader on his team, pointing a thumb at himself, saying, I made a couple stupid plays there that cost us. You like to see that. You like to hear that from, I mean, you don't want to hear a guy making stupid mistakes, but you like to see him own it and just kind of take ownership of that. And I think what he's saying is right. Like, these mistakes are correctable.
Yeah.
I don't think there were a lot of things in this game that say, oh, man, this team has been completely smoke and mirrors from the very beginning, and now it's back to reality for the team. It's just, I look at that, the first Kings goal, Sam Renzel is trying to make a play in the offensive zone. He's got it at the point, tries to walk in, he gets poked away, they're off the other way, 2-on-1. And then the second Kings goal, Fiala gets a breakaway, and then Kaiser and Murphy, they defend the breakaway. They prevent a scoring chance without taking a penalty, but it goes by net. Fiala gets it, and Soderblom can't get over to the post. That's the difference in the game. It's like I would say the second goal was kind of a bad bounce. They defended it correctly, and then it just happened to go to Fiala behind the net, and Soderblom couldn't get the leg kicked out. And the first one is an offensive zone turnover. Renzel gets too deep, can't recover, and they're off the other way. Those are correctable. It's it's like when to pick your battles, but that kind of aggressiveness from Renzel is not something they're going to discourage him from doing, right? Just got to manage the puck a little more, maybe take a look over his shoulder to see if there's any coverage behind you before you make that decision, a little more spatial awareness, and they'll be good. I don't think there's anything catastrophic about this loss. Is it frustrating? Yes. Did the effort feel like not up to snuff the entire time? Yes, but I don't think there's anything here that points to, oh, man, this is all going to fall apart right now. I don't know if you feel the same way.
Yeah, but I mean, it was two not great periods, but how many of those have there been this year? Not that many. I'm especially not on a Sunday night home game against a team playing back to back. If you want to get granular, but there hasn't been that many periods where you're like, now if we're sitting here Tuesday night after the Ottawa game and they've played three more periods like we saw in the second, third period, then you go, okay, what are we seeing here?
Yeah.
How do we get out of this funk? But no, I'm not, discouraged. This is a team that still has a lot to learn. It's still a very young team. It's still a team, learning and gelling under new systems. I know we're 9 games into it, but, some of these things take time, and, they just got they got their best asset taken away from them in the second and third period, their speed.
Yeah.
And they didn't know how to adjust and how to adapt and how to make up for that. So maybe the next time a team plays that same way, they figure out how to readjust and change their mindset and get back on the attack.
It felt a little bit too like they got a little bit, I guess maybe the word I'd use would be like frazzled when there was such a shift in play from the first to the second, almost like, oh my God, almost as the same way we're feeling like, what is going on? How did this happen? Because you saw kind of a lot of uncharacteristic, like there was a moment in the third where Frank Nazar could like walk it to the front of the net and he just like fell down, kind of like over skating. I think they were getting frustrated, and in trying to make things happen, they got a little out of control. We saw the same thing against Tampa, where Tampa was very clearly trying to throw everything they could, shots-wise, at Spencer Knight, because they knew, young D, let's create some chaos. Let's make guys run around in this man-to-man system. And the Hawks had to put up with that for a while, and then they calmed down, settled down, found their structure again, and were able to recover. That was not the case in this game, where it was just like once they lost it, they couldn't get it back.
Right, which has been uncharacteristic for this team so far this season.
All right, let's go out to the United Center and bring in Mario Tirabassi, who is in the locker room postgame, and just heard from head coach Jeff Blashill. We do have the injury update, Mario. We read that on the show, but I get you were there. You actually heard it with your own ears. What did you make of the comments that it seems to be like a day-to-day thing for Mikheyev?
Yeah, I mean, Blashill said that they'll know more tomorrow, but he's not expecting it to be anything long-term. So that's a rough ride into the boards, right into his shoulder. So hopefully it is minimal. But yeah, I guess we'll find out the extent tomorrow, but he didn't seem too concerned about it. So hopefully only day-to-day for Mikheyev, who's been super important to this team. I mean, you saw in the third period not having him, what kind of difference that can make, especially when you're already playing with just 11 forwards. So hopefully it's not a long-term thing for him.
Yeah, especially when you were just talking about how their speed through the neutral zone was, taken away from them, and then your two guys that are best at forechecking and getting in and causing havoc, Tyler Bertuzzi and Ilya Mikheyev, were not there, and that's tough for the Blackhawks to recover from that.
That changes the DNA of this team, yeah.
Well, let's get right to Jeff Blashill, because he, from what see what you sent in here, he addressed the three main things of this game: the power play, the self-inflicted wounds, and losing to tired teams. Where do you want to start here?
Yeah, I mean, the theme of the night was the self-inflicted comments and the mistakes that the guys made that really didn't necessarily come forced from the Kings. It's more or less the Kings took advantage of them. Both Connor Bedard and Jason Dickinson talked about it, and Jeff Blashill talked about it after the game too, and how it took them out of their rhythm from the first period. So here's what the head coach had to say regarding the evaluation of the game tonight.
I thought we played really good in the first, probably could have been up by 2. Not that we had crazy much chance, but I thought we played good. That's the way we want to play. I thought we kind of self-inflicted a little bit in the second in terms of puck management, a couple decisions, and we kind of made the game less direct, less predictable to ourselves, and as a result, we didn't really create much at all. And probably on top of that, stopped shooting when we did have chances to shoot. And so, they get the 2-1 lead, and they're a really hard team with the lead. And so in the third, we just had a real hard time generating stuff because they're good at kind of sitting back and making you force it in, and they broke the puck out better than us, and we didn't quite have the jump on the forecheck that we need to have when you're in those spots. That's disappointing for sure, because I thought we could have kind of carried forward from the first on, but there's a learning thing in this. I think they've got a lot of good pros in their team that have kind of been through hard hockey, and we got to still continue to kind of make strides when the game's hard like that, not when it's open and fast, when it's hard.
This was a game that the Blackhawks can learn some lessons from, as Blashill said. Like, that's a Kings team. A lot of those guys are made of players that are either around for when the Kings were going through their 2010s run right alongside the Blackhawks, or they've had success on other teams like that. That's a team that's built to play playoff hockey. So when the Blackhawks are playing playoff hockey again, these are the kinds of games, kinds of teams, and kinds of styles that they'll have to overcome. So, as he said, like that's a lesson for a lot of these guys, a lot of the young players.
Yeah, to me the main issue in this game, and it's kind of been, if there's one downside to this season, it's been the power play. It just has not been getting going. The setup has been, I mean, I will say this: once it's set up, it's okay. They can move the puck pretty well. They're trying to get Bedard in the Ovechkin Panarin formation on that left dot, just looking to rip one-timers, and it's worked a couple times. He had a good look today. They got saved. But the problem is, I feel like half of the power plays they've gotten this season, they've been unable to set up at all. I think tonight they maybe got actually set up moving the puck back and forth once on the power plays they had tonight, and that's just not going to get it done.
Yeah, setting up the power play is a cause for a lot of issues, because if you take a minute and a half to get into the zone and set it up, then you have 30 seconds of what's actually an advantage, and you're likely doing it with your second unit. Now, usually your second unit shouldn't be more effective than your first, but we've seen that a number of times in games with this team this season. So through the first 4 power plays that they had the night, they had 1 shot on goal. You cannot have that. Like, this is a group, especially with the talent that they do have. You should at least generate a shot on goal per power play. Like, that seems like an easy baseline for this team to be able to manage, but they were not able to do it tonight. And as Blashill says, which we can throw to right now, not winning faceoffs on the power play is an issue. So this is what Blashill had to say about the issues tonight with the power play.
I want to look at it more without commenting a whole bunch. We struggle to win faceoffs still. That's an issue, because then you got to get in. We made a couple tweaks on our breakout that didn't pay off the way that we were hoping to. Probably didn't result in what we were hoping to. You get a little bit of looks, but not much. So we got to at the very least, as I said to him, we got to generate momentum. And didn't feel like we generated momentum on it today. So that's just something we're gonna have to. It's a process, and we're gonna have to go back to the drawing board. Just stay with it and find a way to get better at it.
Yeah, the Hawks had 5 power plays today. Some of them cut in half because of penalties taken during, but they had 5 shot attempts in 5 power plays. That's just
I mean, that's not great. That's not great. I mean, this was a game. It's so funny. Like we've been talking about through the first 8 games of the season, how many penalties that they're taking. Well, you get a game where you draw more than you actually take, and twice you have power plays negated because of penalties. And it's just, you don't get zone entries, you don't win faceoffs in a game in which you won the faceoff battle. Like, it's just those little small facets of the game that end up making a big difference. And that's what it comes down to when you're playing a team like the Kings and the style that they play. Like, you can't really make too many mistakes, whether you're, this Blackhawks group or you're, one of the best teams in the league. Like, you have to be really sound against this team. And they just kind of got away from that after the first period.
Yeah. That's gonna, they got to figure that out, because that's the equalizer, right? Like, you've got a lot of offensive talent with obviously Bedard and Nazar and Teravainen and Bertuzzi and Burakovsky. You've got to find a way to get the power play going, because it can be the difference maker in a game like this where you're playing a team like the Kings that can just shut it down. That's how you get back in these games. And if anything, it felt like the power plays were sapping any sort of momentum this team got going, instead of helping it. Even in the case where you get a power play and maybe you don't score, at least just having the puck for a while and being in control should help at least start swinging things in your favor. And I feel like tonight, if anything, the power plays made the Hawks play worse when they were over. And that's a really frustrating place to be for us, and probably even more so for the players.
Yeah, I mean, at 5-on-5, you were even pretty much the entire game with the Kings. So when you feel like you have more power plays, you should find that that's your advantage, and it just wasn't tonight, which is extremely frustrating, especially when this is a Kings team playing their third game in 4 nights, and their last 4 games on the schedule coming into tonight all went to either overtime or the shootout. And I think Ben Pope said it in the second period, how much this game felt like the Vancouver game a couple of days ago, where Vancouver came in on night 2 of back-to-backs on the road and was able to come back after a good start from the Hawks and cost the game. So Blashill talked about that after the game, and just lessons that they have to learn to avoid situations like that tonight.
Disappointing for sure, Vans for sure, because that was, from Dallas, it's a really hard trip. Not that Nashville, coming from Nashville isn't, but Dallas, that's a hard trip. We're gonna have to remember these more on the back half of them. That we can't use it as an excuse. I thought they're 2 different games, a little bit, I guess. Different in a sense of why it happened, but like both probably cases, we came out in good first periods and kind of, I don't want to say, we just. For differing reasons, I thought took our foot off the gas. Against Van, I just thought we got passive. Against LA tonight, I thought we got our puck management was poor and we fed their rush game.
This was a game that felt like you shouldn't have an excuse to not come away with 2 points, especially the way the team has been playing recently, 4-0-1 in their last 5 games. Like, they had momentum. They had a long layoff, 8 days between home games with a one-off in Tampa, which you won. Like, the sustainable effort should have been there based off of the fact that they had the rested legs. So that's tough. Hopefully they can be the beneficiaries of winning some games that they are going to be tired for down the road, as he said.
All right. Before you spring you, Mario, anything else we need to know from the postgame?
No, I mean, I for my game puck tonight, I picked Colton Dach. I thought he had a really good first period. And then, as kind of with the narrative of the team, things kind of got a little bit lost in that second period. But when Ilya Mikheyev went down, he was the guy that was paired with Andrei Burakovsky and Connor Bedard on the top line with Mikheyev out. So I thought Dach had a really good game. He got a fly going around me. I think he was fast. He was physical. He was winning a lot of puck battles early on, and that's what you want to see. As we've now seen the forwards group get thinned out a little bit. He's a guy that I think is going to get some more opportunity as we move forward in the season. So I think this was a good game for him to try and take advantage of that.
All right, well, good news for you because he is the winner of the game puck. 36% of the vote went to Colton Dach. Greg had Tavo, who won 29%. I had Artem Levshunov, who won 35%. But really, I think Colton Dach was kind of the obvious choice here. We just wanted to present options. Tavo and Levshunov are close to the top in possession numbers. Tavo had 5 shots on goal. But, yeah, I think Colton Dach was pretty significantly the best Hawk through 60 minutes tonight. So, game puck for Colton Dach. So, I'll add him to the list. Good for him that Spencer Knight didn't play tonight. Because he's won every damn game he's been in the lineup for. So
Blashill did have some good things to say from Arvid Soderblom's game tonight as well. This was a long layoff for him between games, but hard to. I mean, and 2 goals given up were some pretty tough ones that he'd have to make the effort on. Otherwise, he made all the saves that you'd hope for him to make. So that's. The kind of thing you want to see out of Soderblom and can give you some confidence that, you give him a little bit of goal support, a little bit of offensive support, things will be all right.
All right. That is Mario Tirabassi from the United Center. Thanks for joining us. We'll talk to you tomorrow at 2:30.
See you guys.
All right. Well, that's going to pretty much do it for us. Speaking of tomorrow at 2:30, we are going to be joined by Tony Granato. We're going to have several hits with him this season. I know he was at the rink tonight watching the game, so we'll pick his brain, former coach, former player. Want to get his insight on the power play and a whole lot more, so make sure you join us tomorrow at 2:30. We're unsure if they're practicing or not tomorrow. We are awaiting a media update, But if they are, we will be there, and we'll have all the video and audio from practice to share with you. So make sure you set a reminder to join us at 2:30 before we go. Any final thoughts, Greg?
No, just it's 1 of 82, and you're right back at it Tuesday. So you get a quick turnaround to just forget all about tonight.
There you go. Let's ball this up and throw it away and get to it Tuesday. We will talk to you tomorrow at 2:30 with Tony Granato on the CHGO Blackhawks podcast presented by Bet365.
We all silly like the mayor.